Hey everybody, Dylan from Noble Records coming at you with another video. I wasn't planning on doing a video tonight, but it's just been a really rough week. I don't need to go into it. Everybody knows what's going on in the country right now. We've just been hit with one thing after another, after another, after another. It's just really been a hard time. I think most people are either sad or depressed or angry. It's just, man, there's a lot of negativity going around, and it's just heartbreaking. And so it's just been one of those weeks where I just need to sit down and listen to a record to make me feel better. And so wife and kids went to bed, and a lot of times I'll come in here in my record room. It's just been a hard time, and I'm like, you know, I don't want to learn about anything new. I just want to put on a record that I love and just chill, you know. So thought I'd do this video, 10 records that make me feel better. Would love to get this started as a thread. If anybody else wants to chime in, I'd love to see the records that make you feel better. But anyways, these are 10 records that throughout my life, when I'm having a hard time, I'll throw one of these records on and they'll make me feel better. So these are not in any particular order. I just pulled them, put no thought into this. I just thought, hey, what record do I want to listen to right now that'll make me feel better? First one, Bob Marley and the Wailers Live. This is a deluxe edition. It's 3 LP. It's really nice, but I just had the regular edition when I was younger as a kid, but just the amount of energy that Bob Marley brings to the stage. You know, he's a revolutionary, amazing artist. But like No Woman, No Cry, that's one that I used to listen to nonstop. This is a really nice edition of this. I love it. But just this album, Bob Marley Live, is really good. I love a good live Marley set. But just, you know, I love reggae and everything, but there was just something about Bob Marley, the way he was able to lead people. And he was able to, you know, he was a peaceful guy, but he was also able to bring forth change and bring the best out of people. And you could just hear it in his music. He's very, very talented dude. The next one is Red Hot Chili Peppers, Blood Sugar Sex Magic. This album, I know it sounds crazy, but this is just one, over the years, you know, when I'm having a hard day, I'll put it on sometimes if I'm angry, and it'll turn my mood around and it'll make me happy. It's one of those for me. A lot of people don't like Red Hot Chili Peppers. I love Red Hot Chili Peppers. I love this album. The one memory I remember, you know, very vividly, I had it on cassette tape. Had an old Ford Explorer, and me and my wife first got married. I was working at a car dealership, and I was having a tough time. I wasn't able to spend any time with my family. My wife was pregnant at the time. We were young, but I was not able to. I was spending all my time at this car dealership. One thing led to another, and I quit. I remember driving out of that place and putting this cassette in, blaring it, and just getting down and just loving it. It just made me feel a lot better. And this is just a really great album, but it's very sentimental to me just through the years. I've grown to love it a lot. So yeah, and I do like normal things. So, I mean, I think everybody thinks I like all these weird records. I do really like normal records, too. Another one's Beach Boys' Pet Sounds. This is an original, first mono press. Beautiful copy, still in the shrink. Got this at Goodwill for $1. But anyways, this is just one of those records. It's a feel-good record. When I put it on, it just feels like positive energy coming out. I really, really love it. I don't need to say anything else about this record. Everyone knows about Pet Sounds, but it's just one of those records that you put it on and your feet start bouncing, and you're like, puts a smile on your face. Love Pet Sounds. Another one is this this Parliament record. I can never pronounce this. Funkadelic and the Placebo Syndrome. Flashlight on this album particularly, but this whole album, you know, put it on and it's just like, there's parts of it that are silly and fun, and just there's funky bass lines, and it's Parliament. I absolutely love it. But you know, I remember going through some hard times in college, and every single time I would put this on, I just would those problems would melt away, and I would just listen to this record, and it was just one of my favorites to really turn my mood around. I love it. Next one is Rage Against the Machine, which might be a little bit weird of a choice because it can seem kind of angry. But this is just one that sometimes when I'm in that mood, I put it on, crank it, and just it makes me feel. Music sometimes makes you feel like you're not alone. You know, it makes you feel like it's okay to be upset. It's okay to be angry. These guys were in the same boat. You know, they're angry about some things going on, and it just that you get that blood pumping and just like love it. But Rage Against the Machine, good stuff. The next one is Pearl Jam versus. This isn't even like, you know, one of my favorite I mean, it is one of my favorite Pearl Jam records, but as I started making this list, I was looking at a lot of my picks would probably be grunge. There's a lot just from my childhood of listening to grunge and my teenage frustrations that lend to that feeling. So this one in particular, though, for some reason, you know, I was in my early 20s. Another time I was like newly married. My wife, we had a baby, and I was landscaping, and it was a few really hard years. But during that time, like, I'd have an iPod on at work when I was doing landscaping. This was on a heavy rotation during that time. And so when I put this record on, I can remember, like, the times where I was, like, my feet were bleeding because I'd, you know, worked 72 hours that week landscaping. Like, I'd buy a new pair of shoes every other week because I was blowing through shoes like crazy because we were doing like commercial landscaping. It was really hard work. And I remember thinking, when am I going to be out of this? Like, when am I going to see the light at the end of the tunnel and get to stop doing this landscaping? Horrible, horrible work. It was hot. It was horrible. Hated it. But at the same time, you know, during that time, this album brought me a lot of joy. And I listened to it over and over again. And when I listen to it now, it just kind of reminds me of that time to where I kind of was having to pay my dues a little bit. And, oops, sorry about that. And, you know, it puts a smile on my face now. It makes me feel better now because I realize, you know, I think part of it makes me think, I got through that, I'll get through this. Another one, Bon Iver, self-titled. This is a record. Came out in 2011. So I got married in 2010. My life totally changed. Learning to live with another person. My wife has always made me a better person. Helped me see just how much I am able to grow, and she does it in a really loving way. But early on in our marriage, you know, those few years that were so hard, I was working another job that I really didn't like, and I was having a really tough day one day, and it happened to be my birthday. And you know, I was young, and you know, as an adult man, I don't. My birthday doesn't have to be special or anything, but at that time, I was just kind of getting back into collecting records again, and we didn't have much money, and I wasn't buying any records for like actual money. I was finding them all at thrift stores and stuff. So my wife went in and bought this record, which was probably like a $15 or $20 record, but at the time that was a lot of money. And it was the first record that I'd ever bought that wasn't at a thrift store or yard sale or flea market. You know, I had this rule when I was younger that I would spend under $3 on every record I bought, and I had a whole collection, and it was all under $3. And you know, in my 20s when I got married, I sold a lot of my collection off, and then I started getting into some newer music, and I was like, well, I'll never have this stuff on vinyl because it's like more than $3, and I'm not going to spend a lot of money on records. See how that went. But anyways, this particular year, my wife went and bought this for me for my birthday, and it was just one we both really loved and we both listened to a lot. And I remember when I put this on, music just has a way of bringing you back to that moment in time, and this just makes me feel good, just remembering those really sweet early years of marriage that we had. And we still have really sweet years, but now it's a lot more hectic because we have young kids. Next one is Jason Mraz, We Sing, We Dance, We Steal Things. This is an incredible record for me. I understand that this is not like the best record of all time or anything like that. And this is a little off-brand for me. I do understand that. When I was young, and you know, my late teens, early 20s, I guess I was probably 18. this record came out, and I was just having a hard time making some decisions on where to go in life. I had some friends that weren't good for me, and I just was having a hard time figuring out if I wanted to go to college and all this other stuff. And my wife came along. We had known each other for a really long time, but I finally worked up the courage to, you know, tell her how I felt, and we started dating and all that. And so a very significant moment of life change for me happened, and this was the soundtrack of that time. So I put this on and listen to it, and man, it brings me back to that time. And I remember me and my wife listening to it together, and it makes me happy because that was a really transformative time in my life, but also a very, very good time in my life that I really needed. Next one is This American Beauty. I love this album. When I was young, this was one of the first albums that I really discovered and felt like, wow, I really discovered this record. I didn't know about it from my parents or anybody else. I found this record and really love it. I listen to it all the time. Just got some amazing songs on it. This is one of my favorite albums of all time. But just it's one of those I put on. It's just as simple as it's really, really good, feel-good music. I don't know why I feel the need to mention this, but like, have you guys ever watched Freaks and Geeks? If you haven't, it's a really good show. I don't know why they only did one season of it, but it's a really great show. I don't know where you can watch it on now. I'm sure you can watch it on Netflix or something, but it's a great show. And at the very end, they start playing this album. This album's like part of the show. And it reminds me of that a little bit. Like that, I watched that when it was coming out, and it was like, I was young at that time. It came out at the perfect time for me. And so that kind of reminds me of that too, but also it's just a really great record with some great songs. Last one, and like I said, none of these are in any order, but last one is this Jimi Hendrix, Access Bold as Love. This is an album I absolutely love. Also, just the album is a great, great, great album. But a lot of times when I'm coming out to my room to listen to a record, when I put something on, I don't want, like, a lot of times I won't have my cell phone near me or anything like that. I'll just put a record on, sit in my chair, I'll put it right in the middle of all the speakers, and I'll just put the record on and just unplug and chill. And this is such a good sounding record that you have to sit and really listen to it. This is the UHQR version of Access Bold as Love. This is a stereo copy. I really like the stereo copy. I had the mono copy, but I sold it because it was worth a lot more. And the stereo copy I really like. And now I have listened to Access Bold as Love in mono. I have a mono copy at the shop right now, actually. I really think this is a stereo record. And you can disagree with me, that's fine. But I really think this is a stereo. It just sounds way better in stereo, in my opinion. The pan is amazing on it. But anyways, in this copy, this is the, it's an audiophile copy. And this is what the vinyl looks like, just in case you were wondering. Pretty cool. But it's just an intentional record. You know, you put it on, and the sound quality is so good, you have to just stop everything and pay attention to it. So that's just one that I put on, and hearing, like, you know, I've worked a lot of years to get my sound system the way I want it, and hearing my sound system sound its best makes me feel good. And on a record that I really love, it just hits the sweet spot. Hits the sweet spot for me. So, anyways, excuse my rambling video. I just felt like I needed to spread some positivity. There's so much negativity in the world right now. So I'd love to see some of your favorite records that, not necessarily favorite records, but the ones that really turn your mood around, make you feel good. And so I really think that right now, being positive to each other and loving each other is a really, really big part of how we get better as a country. So I thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you'd like to hit the subscribe button, check out some of my other videos. Thanks for your time. As always, we'll see you next time.